Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the 2020 draft class, specifically the quarterback position of this class. You know, quarterbacks are always a big talk during draft season. You know, a lot of good prospects out here, different types of guys. We're going to talk about them all.
Yeah, there are a lot of guys, but luckily for us, at least, we're going to have more time to talk about each individual guy because there's not as many quarterback prospects that are in the first couple rounds, at least is what I'm saying, than there would be with wide receivers, because obviously more wide receivers in the field than quarterbacks. Well, let's start off where we deserve to get this all started off, and that being Joseph Burrow.
Yeah, it's where the draft is going to get started off, and it's where we're going to get started
I wonder
off.
if his actual name at birth is Joseph or Joe. I don't know.
But well, we'll see what it
Well,
says.
they
We'll
just
see what
signed
Roger Goodell
birth
write
certificate.
what they write on the draft card when the Bengals draft him. It says Joe or Joseph, but I think it'll say Joe.
Do they have to write their full name?
I don't think so.
No, yeah. It's Joe Burrow.
I
Yeah.
don't even fill half of it out. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, Joe Burrow, his stats in his season kind of spoke for himself of why we all think that he is the best quarterback in this draft. He got the Heisman. He won the national championship. He set records throughout the whole thing, especially in the playoffs. He had great stats with passing, had a lot of passing yards, a lot of touchdowns, and he is even mobile sometimes when he has to be. So Joe Burrow, he's done so many good things, and the season that he just had just spoke to why he's the best quarterback in this draft. If you haven't gone and watched this season, go and watch him. But he's made many ridiculous plays throughout this whole season, and he should be in prime position to do it in the NFL too.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, not only one of the best talents, but his worth ethic and everything about his way,
I have something to say too, but go ahead.
everything about the way that he is as a person, the way he holds himself. It's just really,
Yeah, the posture, you're talking about his posture?
like the way he contains.
I know
Something
what you know.
like
It was
that,
a
it's
joke. You really didn't like my joke, did you?
I just didn't understand it was a joke.
Well, you
But
should
Joe
have.
Burrow, like Jordan said, the stats speak for themselves. I think he had the most touchdowns in FBS history in a single season. And actually being a relevant player, unlike whoever the last one was. It was on a random team that just put up the stats. But he's been able to create some chemistry with guys. And this year, the knock on him is going to be, he's a one-year wonder, you know. He just came and did this last
wonderful year if he's a one-year wonder.
Yeah, and it was a great year. And I think Joe Burrow, if any guys out of this draft, he would be one of the top guys where I would say he could keep up good play for a long time because he has a worth ethic.
Yeah, and another thing with Joe Burrow is that he's very confident. He's not afraid to say that he's confident. He's and to be an NFL quarterback, especially as a rookie, which he will be. You have to have some confidence, and you have to have confidence in yourself. He does have that confidence in himself. He just knows the game very well. One issue is sometimes, me and Tyler have both noticed this. He said it in other videos, but I've also noticed it too. Sometimes on deep balls, it just kind of seems like he just throws it up a little bit. But
It's tough to find real knocks on Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
At
that's
least
probably the
watching
one
from last season. I had to go to 2 years ago to be like, okay, what are some
Gotta find
flaws of
something.
this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
But from last year, things I noticed.
And for the most part, his deep balls are beautiful as well.
Yeah,
So.
and when he's got Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, maybe you can allow it up there a little bit.
That's
So,
true. That's true.
And one more thing before we segue into some of these other prospects. I know people recently have been coming out and saying Joe Burrow to the Bengals, it's not a good fit. The team fit is not good, and that Joe Burrow should, quote, pull an Eli. I hear their points, but you think about it, like, they're bad, but I think Joe Burrow, what he proved he could win. It doesn't matter who they're playing, where they're playing. He did it all this season. They beat really good teams. They had a historically good resume, which is why I kept LSU at number one the whole way through pretty much. But Joe Burrow can win, and the Bengals are literally known for having the good regular season, doing the easy part. But come playoff time, when you need those clutch moments, they have not been able to perform in the playoffs for literally a long time. I don't think they've won a playoff game this millennium. And Joe Burrow's a guy who can win. So,
what is a millennium?
like, since
Is that 100 years?
that's
No,
1,000.
it's
Come on, that was pretty funny. A
Millennium.
century's
Century's
100
100,
years. Yeah. So the last time they won a playoff game, the Bengals, the year started with one, is what I'm saying. So it's been a while, and Joe Burrow's a guy who could win.
I hope not.
But we still got to see. We still got to see, how he develops in the NFL. But I wouldn't completely say Burrow to the Bengals is bad. There could be better places, but I don't think it's something that Joe Burrow should try to avoid.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Also, I want to add that I would be very
Move to
interested
the
to
next
make
one,
an
actually.
entire video about what you just said with Joe Burrow and the
Yeah.
Bengals because I have lots to say about that. But nothing for this video. Let's move on to
Tua.
the next guy, Tua Tagovailoa.
Thanks for taking it.
You're welcome. Say it if you want.
Tua Tagovailoa.
I still don't see a U.
Yeah.
It's Tua Tagovailoa. I don't see the pronunciation, but Hawaiian words are weird like
that
that, I
racist?
guess. No, not at all. I'm not
Okay,
trying
just
to
wanna
make
make
it
sure.
that like that
Just
at
wanna
all.
make sure.
I'll just say Tua.
Actually, I respect Tua and his family from what
Yeah.
they've gone through and how much they all love football. The lefty that was originally a righty and his dad was like, "Nope, you're gonna be a
Yeah,
lefty."
I saw that. So, yeah,
Isn't
normally
that
it's the
weird?
opposite. we
Yeah.
hear about.
Well, I think because if you're a lefty playing quarterback,
Is he
that kind of
ambidextrous
brings you
then
to
now
the
throwing the
Yeah.
ball?
You're stuck at what?
Is he ambidextrous now throwing the ball?
Yeah, I'm sure he can still throw with his right hand, but he's
Yeah.
predominantly lefty now.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that, there's a lot of other things that you can see from Tua. I just finished watching his season with Alabama, and I know he got hurt twice in that season. That's a knock that everyone's been talking about. Is he going to be able to stay healthy?
But that's kind of made him fall in
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
draft orders, but now he's climbing back up. Teams or people are kind of trusting him now. Some people are even putting him over Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
which we don't believe in.
Don't do that.
No. Yeah, I think it's closer than people anticipate. If Tua doesn't get hurt this year, he could still be at number one with the play that he was having so far. But he has good mobility, and what I've noticed is the RPOs that Alabama ran last year is going to translate well into the NFL. He's able to throw the ball quickly, make decisions quickly, and throw it into tight areas, which I love about Tua.
And the thing with Tua, remember before this season, I mean, people were so excited.
It was
about
tank
him.
for Tua.
Yeah, it was tank for Tua. He was the hot guy. That was not meant to sound weird, but he was
It's because
really.
he's from Hawaii, right?
Yeah,
That's why you're saying that.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was kind of him and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, obviously not in this draft, but him and Trevor Lawrence were really the top two quarterbacks, and everyone was so high on Tua. And frankly, he didn't have a bad season, so that shouldn't go away too much. He should be a very good player translating into the NFL.
Yeah, and I think when you look at Tua, you see a guy with a lot of potential. Tyler, you mentioned the RPOs down there in Alabama. They also love their post routes and slant routes there in Alabama. I don't know why they just run those a lot, but it works. So I think that definitely could translate well to the NFL. But the injuries, with the way it's two-time, it's not his fault. Football's a physical game; it can happen to anyone at any time. I still think he's got the potential. I really love his throwing motion. He throws a very crisp ball, but I don't know. I just have this doubt. If he's going to be like your top 5 pick, like you're basically saying this guy can lead our franchise for a decade. That's what you're saying when you take a guy this high. It's not like, oh, he'll just be a 1-year plug-in guy or a bridge. When you take someone like not only in the first round, but
Especially-
this high.
Especially when people are projecting him to go to the Dolphins, they're looking for the guy right now. So
And one thing the Dolphins were horrible. They were horrible in a lot of things. But one thing they were especially horrible in is pass protection. And if you have Tua, who already has an injury history, getting hit a lot, I don't feel too good about it. But if you protect him, it could work out all right.
We spent a lot of time on those first two, so
They're good.
let's keep it moving. Another good player, and Justin Herbert from Oregon, who could have gone to the draft last year, and I think would have been a lot better of a strategy for him to do that last year. I'll let you guys start, but I do have something to say about Justin Herbert.
well, you do have to give him some respect for the decision that he made, wanted to stay in college and play another year, try to show even more of what he can do. Unfortunately for him, that didn't work out, as Tyler stated, as he had a worse season this year than he had last year. But he started playing better towards the end of the season. He was kind of slow in the middle, and people were kind of going lower and lower on him. But then he had a good Rose Bowl and a good Senior Bowl as well, and we'll see if that carries on into the Combine. If he has a good Combine, then I wouldn't be surprised if people are trying to jump the gun and move him out more. But I honestly haven't watched too much of Herbert, but that's pretty much what I know. I think that he'll be a decent quarterback and one that a lot of teams would be happy to have.
Yeah, Herbert to me is boomer bust, and that's just the way I feel when I see him, because I see a lot of potential, but then I also see, sometimes I see plays and I'm like, wow, that's really good. But sometimes I watch some of his games and I see, okay, how is this guy really going to be elite at the next level? Like, there were some points during the middle of the season where Oregon had some close games against some not so great teams where I began to have my doubts. But then you watch the Rose Bowl, you see the reports from the Senior Bowl, then you see some really good things. He's a mobile quarterback. He can run when he needs to, not afraid to take hits. He's an experienced starter, spent I think all 4 years. He's a senior, so that'd be 4 years at Oregon. I think he grew up in that area too, so he's an experienced player. He's played a lot of football at a high level. Oregon, good college football program. The arm strength is good, I think. I think that's probably one of his best traits. Sometimes the accuracy is a little off, but Herbert, I think if he's developed properly, if he's not rushed, he could be all right and kind of have a Drew Lock type of rookie year maybe, where you kind of get him in there late. But you got to develop Herbert right. The potential is there, just don't rush it.
Yeah, the potential is there, and you guys both mentioned a lot of. If you're looking at Justin Herbert, just at the highlights of Justin Herbert. He looks great. I mean, you see these long throws, as Ryan said, the arm straight, the huge accelerated thing about his play is just that. But if you look beyond the surface, I feel like Justin Herbert, Jordan, you said this too, he didn't have much improvement from last year. I think he's tried to stay in college because he felt like he could improve. I just don't think he likes football as much as the rest of these guys on this list. I don't know anything. I've never met Justin Herbert. I probably will never meet Justin Herbert. But that's just the feeling.
Get famous and start going
that's just the feeling I get from
Yes,
Justin Herbert.
right.
This doesn't seem to work as hard as the other people that we're going to talk about. And let's move on to the next guy. We're just going down this list right now. This is not our order of
It's definitely
what
not
we
my order.
think of quarterbacks. But the next one is Jordan Love from Utah State.
I'll probably be quiet on this one because I don't know much about him either, but I'll try to pitch in if I find the need to.
Well, I saw a quote that really frustrated me because I don't know who said it, but someone just compared this guy to Patrick Mahomes, and I was like, "What?" Like, I haven't watched all that much of it, but you want to compare a
Make myself useful.
group of 5 quarterback to a guy who just won Super Bowl MVP and took his team on a storybook season ride and won his team's first Super Bowl in 50 years.
To be fair,
Pump
Texas
the
Tech
brakes.
isn't much of a football school.
Oh, at least it's the Power 5,
Yeah.
Big 12. The
Yeah.
Big 12 is known for its offense, like the SEC minus the defense. But
True.
it is.
True.
I know. But Kenneth Murray, but that's it.
Yeah.
And you look at the whole Jordan Love thing. I've seen some good throws from him. I've seen some good arm strength, but the competition, like, you're not even in a Power 5 conference, so. And Utah State went, I think it was 6-6, and I don't even think they won their bowl game. I believe they actually lost to Kent State. So I haven't bought into him yet. I've seen him in the top half of some of these mock drafts going to Tampa and Indianapolis. I just haven't bought into him as a first-round prospect yet. I'll watch more film. I'll do my due diligence, as I'd like to do on all prospects that I talk about, but I just haven't seen it from him yet. That could change, but right now he's a day 2 prospect.
All right, we got 4 more guys that I want to talk about before we end, so we're just going to move on. Ryan, you did a good job of explaining even my opinions about Jordan Love. Let's move on to Ryan's
Yes.
favorite guy here. Not necessarily favorite, but
I'm high on him.
very high on Jake Fromm. And I just started watching Georgia's last year, and I've seen a lot of great things from Jake Fromm. He knows a lot about football. You see him pre-snap. He knows what the defense is going to do a lot of the times before the plays even happens. He can change the play at the line. Ryan, I think you've said he has the highest football IQ of any of these quarterbacks.
I was just going to say that, yeah, but I think I've said that before.
Yeah, I think you said that in our draft video, actually, the last video on our channel before this one, so go check that out. And, of course, the play as well from Jake Fromm. The accuracy is there, but when he's pressured, sometimes I feel like his mechanics can get a little bit off, and the ball can just go wild. But when he's got time, he's good in the pocket, he can make some good throws, and that's what I like to see.
And I just want to add on to what you said there, because I agree that when he gets under pressure, he is sometimes not the best, sometimes his mechanics break down, like you said, but he just reminds me so much. Just watching him, physically, he reminds me of Tom Brady, because he's not the fastest guy.
I mean,
You
he's more mobile than Tom Brady.
Well, yeah, and that doesn't say much, but he's not the fastest guy. He's not going to be doing a quarterback sneak every other play like you see in the Big 12, but or QB dive specifically at Sam Ellinger. But really, what I'm saying is, he's got that high football IQ. He's not going to make those rookie mistakes. He's not going to make a lot of those. Sure, he'll have his, as every football player does, he'll do some bad things once in a while, but he's not. He's an experienced starter. He's not going to do those rookie mistakes. He's poised. He's calm. He plays in the SEC.
He's played in the
Top
biggest.
conference.
He's played in the
biggest state.
games
He's played a
of
national
football.
championship. And he's lost those big games. He's won
Lost to
those big
Alabama,
games.
right?
Yes, in that overtime one. And he might not light up the stat sheet, so he might not be good for you fantasy owners. But if he's in a good system that grooms him the right way, that doesn't rush him onto the field, and that is able to use him for what he is and not try and make him into something that he's not asking to do too much. I think the sky's the limit for Jake Fromm. I really do. And there's a couple teams out there that are picking late first round of the draft that you may not think will take quarterbacks, but I think they could use him. And I don't want to go too much into that because that could be a different video. And he's, like I said, experienced, and that experience really helps him play mistake-free football. And an ideal system for him is a team that has a solid running game and a good offensive line and good coaching, like he had in Georgia.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Because, let's see, we'll do 3 more. All right, Jalen Hurts is the next one on this list. Actually, before we move on, I said before the video, I said to Ryan, I think Jake Fromm can be like the Drew Lock of last year's draft, a guy that goes not in the first round necessarily, but can have played like he deserved to go in the first round.
I really think he should go in the first round. I really do. I just want to get that out.
All right, next up, Jalen Hurts from Oklahoma. We've seen a lot of Oklahoma quarterbacks recently. This one not going first overall unless we see some
Come on, Cliff.
massive change.
Cardinals are
in
going to
our
be
draft
on
process.
Tyler. Come on.
But yeah, Jalen Hurts had himself a great year in the Heisman running. He's been through a lot in his college career.
Yeah.
Started at Alabama, then got benched when they were down by like 13 at halftime, I think. It was around there. And then
National championship.
Tua comes in and he wins the national
The legend was
championship.
born.
Jalen Hurts sits on the bench for a year and then says, okay, well, Tua's starting. He gave it a chance.
Yeah. He said, I'm gonna head
And
out.
then he went somewhere. He said, I got to go play for my senior year. And he went to Oklahoma, and he did a great job this year.
Just a quick note, this also happened.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Hopefully they can hear that. But Jalen Hurts, as I said, lit up the stat sheet, not only on the ground, which is one of the things that we've seen a lot from him this year, but in the air as well. Jalen Hurts is a guy who can get out of the pocket a lot of times, doesn't force it, but when he has to, he'll get out of the pocket and he'll take off. A lot of designed runs for him, they always seem to work out very well. So the guy I was very impressed with watching on tape, but I agree with where he is in the draft right now. Definitely not a first or second round guy for my eyes. Maybe a second round guy.
Maybe second. Yeah.
For my eyes right now.
I agree with what you said about his draft stock right now. I think, day 2 pick for sure. The stats are good. And like I said Jake Fromm, he doesn't light up the stat sheet, but I'm high on him. Jalen Hurts, he does light up the stat sheet, but I'm not as high on him. And that may seem weird to you, and that's okay, but that's what I'm saying. Stats are not everything. Just because something looks cool, just because it's fun to watch, it's the air raid, yeah, it's great. That's good in college. And, Oklahoma has been so good at producing elite offenses years and years past. You look, they did it with Baker Mayfield, they did it with Kyler Murray, they did it with Jalen Hurts, they're going to try and do it again with Spencer Rattler. But that doesn't always translate to the NFL. The college football and the NFL, of course they're similar, they're the same game, but they're just so different. You step onto the field in a college game and an NFL game, it's so different coaching, different schemes. And just because something works in college doesn't mean it's going to work at that same level in the NFL. So I like his physical traits, like you said, the mobility. He does have some turnover problems, some bad decision making. He's a guy that, will he be a good starter one day? Maybe, but I see him as a day 2 pick right now, rounds 2 or 3.
And one more thing on Jalen Hurts, I really am a fan of his work ethic. He always likes to be working, and after a lot of his games, he would go right to the weight room after and continue to keep working for the next game, which is I am a fan of a hard work ethic, and he definitely has one of those.
All right. We're running low on time, so I said we were going to talk about 2 more. We're just going to talk about 1 more and then mention a couple more names. So let's talk about Jacob Eason lastly from Washington, a guy I haven't actually watched any film on, so I don't feel fairly giving I don't want to evaluate someone if I haven't watched them at all. I just feel like that's unfair.
Yeah, I don't know if any of it. Have you watched it?
I've watched a little bit of him, and I think the arm strength is there. He's kind of like similar to Justin Herbert in some ways physically, but just not quite at the same level. I think he's a guy who could maybe sneak into the late half of the first or late part of the first round. You look at teams that might maybe a team that wants to build for the future at quarterback, or day 2. You look at teams like Carolina, maybe for an example. Some teams that want to add depth at that quarterback position. I don't think he's going to be a guy that goes in the top half like at Tua, Herbert, Burrow level, but I think he's a guy don't sleep on him. He's one of those guys that he might not be the story of draft night, but he might kind of silently develop into a promising prospect. That's my take on him. No, it's limited, but that's what I think.
I think that was a good evaluation from at least what I've seen. I only watch highlights for Jacob Eason, but that's about it. All right, a couple names I do want to mention. Anthony Gordon, hoping to follow in Gardner Minshew's footsteps from Washington State. Tyler Huntley from Utah. And Ryan, I know you love Utah. Nate Stanley, James Morgan, Shea Patterson, Cole McDonald, Steven Montez, and Jake Lutton are just some guys that I want to mention. See if there's anyone else. No. Okay. So there it is, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel because we'll be giving plenty more content like this.
Oh, yeah.
Also, make sure to hit the notification bell and comment your opinions down below. What do you guys think of these quarterbacks? We're very curious to know. With that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys later.
See ya.